That wasn't going to do it for him in Game 2, so let's go to Game 3. Picks and bans are on the screen and ready to get going here between eUnited and LG. Remember, LG were able to take this in spring in Week 1. Can eUnited kind of shake off that demon here in their first week of the summer split and actually beat LG?
I think Thoth's got to go.
Yes.
Whichever team gets Thoth lately, it feels like they just have an inherent advantage over the other. The range is incredibly hard to match. And I think that's part of the reason why we see eUnited immediately banning the bad bird away.
No, I don't blame them for this one at all. Venenu looked great on it, and no surprise, Venenu's been playing so well lately. I can't get enough of singing that guy's praises. I really feel like he's sort of come into his own as a top-tier mid laner. Now, the Terra being banned away along with the Xbalanque, those feel like just kind of like meta bans to me. Those aren't really targeted. Just get the Xbalanque and the Terra out of here.
I think Xbalanque is a little bit of a nuisance. Terra definitely feels more like a target ban, mostly towards PBM, because PolarBearMike loves Terra, and I think that eUnited would certainly look to make her try and happen if they could. This is an interesting first response, though, by eUnited. They see the Serqet, and that prompts the Geb Janus in response, and I love Geb. Although that does raise the concern of being able to protect himself throughout the early game.
There are some areas where Geb has a good matchup into the Serqet, can kind of shield through the last breath to sort of prevent them from spreading the poison, can sort of get them away with the cleanse from being controlled. So there's some ways where it works, but if it's the Geb himself who is in trouble, then it's not the same story, right? It depends on if there could be enough pressure from Weekend if he plays this Serqet onto PBM's Geb.
And that's kind of what I would want to see from Luminosity, especially with this Guan Yu. Still not certain as to whether that's going to be a solo Guan Yu or even perhaps a support Guan Yu. We've been seeing a little bit more of the support Guan as of late, and I think there's something to be said for the ability to immediately cancel out that ultimate for a hard stun.
Yes.
That can make it even easier for Luminosity should they actually choose to prioritize killing this Geb off cooldown to just keep eUnited down.
They also have the Agni they're going to be putting in the hands of Keegs. Very strong synergy between just those two. Keegs able to play the Agni very well. Not just that, but it could also help to set up. Guan Yu provides plenty of control. So does Serqet. So does the Agni. eUnited got to be very careful with their positioning here because not only is it control, but it's relatively safe control that LG have at their disposal. As the Rom Aphrodite get banned away, they do not want to have to worry about seeing that Rom again from Clout.
3 Hunters, though, banned away here in the 3rd and 4th stages.
It is, yeah.
eUnited will get their choice first, and for good reason. I think that this was the smart pickup, going for the Ho Yi. They're adding in the slows. I think that this is team slow right now from eUnited. Every single member has a way to essentially cause some of those movement speed issues for Luminosity, and LG with the Ganesha. Dharmic Pillars could be an okay response, but feels a little bit weird.
Yeah, Ganesh, I feel like, is not one of the strongest Guardians right now, right? Like, Geb is up there at the top, Athena, Terra, but when a lot of those are banned and picked away, then you kind of do have to come down to either the Ganesh or like the Fafnirs or even the Kuzenbos, which gets selected here last pick for eUnited. Very likely to be, I guess, their solo laner then now and let PBM play the Geb. Is that what we're thinking?
I think I'd rather see a solo lane Geb. I don't get to say that very often, but I almost wish that this was a solo lane Geb. I have a feeling it's going to be Benji's Kuzenbo, but I think it'd be a fun little mix-up if they actually did throw Benji onto a Geb. I just can't imagine Benji playing a Geb solo because it's such a passive god, at least for the starting point of the laning phase.
Well, we have seen a lot of this, especially on the minor league. Manda Warrior, someone that likes to play that Geb solo, so it's not unprecedented by any stretch, and it can be very strong having that Geb rotating over a little bit head. He does kind of a lot of base damage, like kind of sneaky good damage, like on the Cataclysm and the Shockwave, so I think this Geb could certainly be in solo. Yeah.
There's some heavy possibilities for it, but looking at the rest of eUnited's draft, I do... Huge fan of the Janus Nemesis possibilities there. I think that the strong initiation or disengage factors could pose a lot of issues here for Luminosity because their composition kind of seems like they want to focus everything into one place. But if there's something that Janus certainly avoids, it's staying in one place.
Well, now that you're seeing both these compositions on paper, can LG do it? Can they take down eUnited? Or are eUnited going to right the ship here and take this win?
I think that eUnited are more likely to win this, but if they misplay, then Luminosity can easily turn the table around.
Well, LG maybe going to have to work on counter-initiating to try and stop down this eUnited squad. Either way, we're going to let Tom and Toli cast it for us.
Thanks a lot, friends. Conclusion a very exciting one here. The Kuzenbo. I don't know why we see the Kuzenbo.
It's a different kind of control. It's consistent little small miniature knockups. If that's what you need to disrupt the potential engagement from Serqet, so be it. And it's very difficult to invade against. It's very difficult to gank, rather. You're not really wanting to deal with that reflect damage.
Sure. Yeah, usually when I see Kuzenbo, I think of it as a way to really punish dot-oriented characters that have abilities that can't really be stopped by like channeled abilities,
Sure.
right? There's a little bit of dot damage by way of Serqet and of course the Agni, but we'll see how it works out. That said, let us know how you think it'll work out. Mixer chat. You guys have usually been on the mark, actually. Game number 1, you weren't. Game number 2, you were. Game number 3, we'll see.
Well, you were talking about the combo that could be potentially disrupted. Also, those bomb stuns could be easily disrupted if a Kuzenbo gets in there with the knockback of that sumo slam or with just the tsunami knockup, whatever that ability is called. It's pretty wild.
Which one?
The tsunami knockup ability.
Let's get into the game before I berate this guy.
Let's look at it.
You're talking about the Kuzenbo?
Yeah.
It's called Watery Grave.
Tsunami knockup.
It is nothing like a tsunami, actually.
It's a watery, like a tsunami. They had the same element, Thomas.
I'm going to cut this short. In other words, not forever. Tsunami bomb. Shoutouts to the 2 kids that were punk rockers in the early 2000s that actually got that reference. Early on in this game, what are we expecting? I want to see Weaken make moves nice and early. I think early game Serqet can be tough to deal with, especially on that dual lane side. On the other side, with the eUnited, I just want to see how Benji plays his Kuzenbo.
I think the Kuzenbo is just going to be chilling for the most part. You can't push back the Guan Yu during the Tallow Assault, so Kiki should have a very respectable advantage, but Benji could easily get some reflect damage as well. Every time he gets a tick off of the reflect, you're kind of reducing some cooldowns of your Nene Kappa and of the dash just to be able to get that off a little bit more often. I'm more excited to see how this dual lane progresses a little forward as Geno being very aggressive alongside Clout, hitting level 2 first, engaging onto PBM.
And going for it, there's a sprint as well. The basics are just short. Clout can't find PBM with him. So because of that, players will live to see another day.
So close.
No knockup either on the PandaCat.
Needed to position that a little bit more accurately, but PandaCat just wiggling his way left and right. Guessed right, he went left, lives to fight another day.
Dash from Keegs, gonna be punished by a portal. That's about it. Venenu not really going too deep into that one. The Kuzenbo, I guess, since he's not able to stop the Tallow, can send the reflect damage, right? That's another channeled ability that he can make use of.
That's true, and that's basically what he's looking for. He's going to sit in front of Kiki
there it is.
And force that to get off another Nene Kappa and look for more additional poke.
I like this individual matchup. Before I was looking at the macro strategy, right? How he works with against dot characters, etc. But he works really well against this Guan because of this interaction. Can't stop the Tallow Assault. It's going to be a channel ability, and Benji's going to sit there and lower his cooldowns by just taking it.
And Kiki can't really get the
cute
lane clear at this point. It's only level 2 Guan Yu. You're really looking for the level 6 to get the maxed out Tallow Assault. It's Clout going to get stunned out, but no follow-up as Geno silences out PBM before that initial knockup. Still taking a lot of poke damage as Clout, but he still has the health potion remaining.
With that in mind, Choli, where do you expect Luminosity's dual lane to... When do you expect Luminosity's dual lane to start being aggressive themselves?
I mean, they already were. You saw that they tried to make a tower dive onto PBM and PandaCat. A little off the mark with some of those basic attacks, trading out sprints.
But usually what we see in that dual lane is we see the one shot where you fight ASAP, sometimes even before the wave meets, but in that first wave. And then somebody pops sprint and goes for the kill. And if they don't wind up with it, then we restart and we just kind of reset. So with that in mind, Luminosity, are they looking to be the more aggressive ones here after the fact?
They will be if they hit level 5 first. Looking at the experience per minute, both of them going to be able to get their purple buffs. It's very even in terms of the experience. It's the next wave, not this one that's going to hit them level 5. So whoever clears the next wave first should be the level 5 marker and then get very close to making the offensive play.
Clout going to be a force to be reckoned with in the later stages of the game. Just trying to hit level 5 for now. Serqet is on the left side of the map, but with eUnited pushed back so far, not really an option here for Luminosity's jungler, so we'll head back to the Oracles.
The timing of this gank is very important with speed buff not respawning for another 30 to 40 seconds. Kiki now in a good spot to be able to clear the way, but every single layer of minions you get pushed through the Kuzenbo, you take that kind of received damage. However, not too worried with the Warrior's Blessing, another additional stack. Going to be able to really get into it.
There's another play, the interrupt. So you can take the damage or you can interrupt. Tallow Assault on the way. Benji certainly in the driver's seat in this lane for sure. How he transitions into the game later is a different story, but he's going to be able to do that all day.
Interesting interaction between those two, because normally the way the tier grab works with the Fearless, you're not able to stop the Tallow Assault with the tier, but this is a different kind of grab that can certainly stop the Guan Yu currently.
So right now, Guan going to have some trouble in lane, you might think. But now Benji's under the tower, so is this where this matchup sways?
This is where the healing becomes a problem for Benji. If he can't find Kiki with a grab through the minions, you're not really clearing the wave. If we can take a look at what Benji is maxing out first, then we can kind of see if he's maxing out the Nene or the grab. If he's maxing out the grab, which he's not, then that would be even worse for him. But he's relying on the Nene Kappa to clear the wave. And then he needs to find the hard reset, get this reflect damage immediately to get off a second one.
Decent amount of damage coming out, you know, different things as far as what Kuzenbo is able to offer. But for right now, just going to focus on the farm.
Going back into the lane, grabbing his own blue buff, Kiki. In a decent position. He is a level behind currently from Benji, but that's not going to be a big of a deal as another rotation from Scream happening. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that solo lane gank between these two, but it's difficult to lock down a Guan Yu that has a horse.
Scream waiting here. There's the ultimate. Gonna slow him down as well with the slice and dice. The push out of the way. The body block is good, and the first blood comes out. Scream with the big one.
The ultimate from Kiki just now coming back off of cooldown. He couldn't get away with the horse. The perfect timing weakened about 3 to 4 seconds too late. The rest of eUnited trying to get a little bit closer with through space and time. Blue buff, though, mistimed. It's not up quite yet.
PolarBearMike gonna chase out the dash from NotGeno. I think keegsmate might have even gotten that with the bomb. Now he's got to watch the positioning because the 3 players from eUnited, there they are. The box is going to be dropped. And then PolarBearMike, he's going to be in trouble.
The Cataclysm will buy him a moment, but the dots from the last breath out of weaken enough to return the favor, putting Luminosity currently on the board.
So right now, LG able to answer back, but you can't always be answering back. That was the problem in game number 2, was that eUnited did a whole bunch and Luminosity started to answer back, and then, frankly, they stopped answering back. But if you want to win the game, generally you have to be the pace setter. So LG looking to turn this one around, but with a red buff invade of their own. A little bit of a tussle, and keegsmate decides this is more than he bargained for.
He didn't have a bomb available to look for that steal. He used it for a little bit of poke. A little frisky is LG at a 7-minute invade. PandaCat could have made that rotation happen, and fighting in the jungle against the Ho-Yi, not where you want to be. So LG could definitely get caught slipping if they don't respect that Hunter presence.
The Hunter certainly does have the presence, right? I mean, that Ho-Yi, the Suns are really what's scary when it comes down to the jungle.
The consistent slows. It feels like you're walking through glue at that point against the Sun. So it's not even a bad idea to use Purification Beads if you're caught in the dead center of it all.
That you used to have the mark of the Golden Crow on that guy in order to get the slow.
Yeah, I think it just slows now.
Yep. Big changes. Big changes. Jing Wei, certainly a part of the meta. These late game hunters, so powerful these days.
So if somebody is marked by Mark of the Golden Crow, it's an additional 20% slow.
Yes, but you're getting the 20% by itself, which is already pretty tough. It's like, what did you say it was like walking through glue?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's just like walking through molasses if you're not marked. It's like glue because you're stuck. Yeah?
I feel you on that. Not feeling it is Kiki.
No.
Constantly getting grabbed.
He is feeling it. He's getting pushed.
He's tired of it.
He is tired of it. But Benji looking to make glue of Kiki. I mean, that's the thing. That's a big deal.
Sidesteps the moving train. It's always a game of jukes in the solo lane. You're trying to consistently avoid each other's abilities and hit the wave at the same time while Gina forcing out the dash from Scream.
You used to, when Kiki was a player when you were a pro player, what's it like playing against Kiki?
It's difficult to predict what he's going to do because it's very random at times. He likes to play aggressive, and then other times he is just going to mix it up on you.
Unorthodox sounds like the approach there, and it always has been as far as his pick is concerned. But his play style also keeping opponents scratching their heads, and I think it's funny because I think that's more valuable now than ever before, because players all play generally at the same level. You've got some exceptions that are higher than others. Scream looking to make mincemeat out of Kiki one more time. This time he's got the horse though. He's gonna turn it around, stun out Benji. And that's all he's really going to do as far as the damage is concerned.
They can still easily dive this tower with the both ultimates out of Benji and Scream. Now, without the cavalry charge, Kiki doesn't have a lot of mobility to get out of it. Without too much cooldown reduction, without Breastplate of Valor, he won't have those dashes up every single time.
Geno on the Ganesha, another character that he's looked strong on. I really like this guy's rookie season. How do you feel about Geno adding to Luminosity and trying to play support here?
He's playing a traditional support, the way a lot of SPL teams are asking to happen. It's just be aggressive, be in the front line. If Weekend's going in, you better follow suit, or else.
And he's been doing it, so no or else.
No more or else. He's setting up the Dharmic Pillars for Weekend to follow up, but couldn't catch the last breath. He needed to get the tick damage off, but the beads from Venenu allows him to quickly go through the portals.
So close. Very close. Tie game here. So close. And it's just 1-1. 11 minutes in. Different story from game number 2. 2 is very active. This one a little bit slower.
Well, 1 was more active than
Yeah.
the second one. Right off the bat, it was just both Scream and Weekend. I believe Scream was playing the dodgy, Weekend on the Ratatasker, making a lot of the plays happen in that first game. Second game, it was slowed down a little bit because eUnited understood the power of their just draft in general. Chang'e and Benji was the key to that success, building the Warlock staff because of the advantage he had over Kiki's Aphrodite.
Uh-oh, there's an ultimate coming out from the Serqet player. But that's it. Just a little ult. No deaths. Nothing really even to write home about as far as the damage is concerned.
Space and time scares Luminosity a little bit to not chase that going forward.
But it also, you're right, it does scare them from going forward, but it ensures that they can go for the portal and for the Pyromancer.
That's true. And I like this grouping up. This is where Guan Yu thrives, the grouping up. Every single heal you're able to do on your allies, you reduce every other cooldown by 2 seconds, and every single offensive dash does the same idea, trying to get off more Tallow Assaults, get off more Cavalry charges. He's going to get the Breastplate of Valor very quickly, and that 20% cooldown reduction is going to be scary for eUnited to handle.
Benji also has a breastplate of his own, but now building into the Void Stone. Going to be bringing some damage, as well as gaining the protection from the magical dealers, neither of which are on the right side of the map at the moment.
Just building for the potential rotations to happen. With the teleport still down for 170 seconds on Benji's side, if he's not in position to keep up with Kiki, could be a little bit dicey, as Kiki didn't opt for that rotational prowess. He opted to go for the meditation, really knowing that that's the way you kind of counter getting Nemesis ulted. You just drop the meditation afterwards. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up the shell immediately after, upgrading it just to absorb some of those basic attacks after.
I really love meditation these days, man. I think it provides you so many options, and in game number 2, Benji did one of my favorite plays. I got no mana, except I got mana.
Yep.
I think meditation provides so many different options, not just to save yourself, but also to outsmart the opposition.
A little bit of a bait tactic. It's been around since the dawn of competitive Smite. People forget about it in about season 2, 3, and 4. It's bringing it back in season 5, kind of like fashion.
Yeah, the meditation bait is one of the classics. Weekend missing his Cobra's Kiss, not so classic. One of his stronger characters here.
Through space and time, eUnited trying to dive this tier 1 tower, but Kiki doing a good job zoning.
Oh my goodness, what a stun from Kiki! That stun from...
Oh.
PandaCat feels good about that one. That stun from Kiki, the 4-man stun from Kiki, stopped the tower dive.
Yes.
That's an onslaught double kill. Kiki making the impact in the game, and what a surprise. Again, won't wind up on the scoreboard.
Gold Fury, very low. Bombs coming through. eUnited will secure it. Scream double dashing away. No one's going to be on the chase.
I like that choice. It's a fun one. I think Rival have just, we call that rivaling it, right? Where Rival's very, very fast and loose with their objectives, and they'll just take the 50-50s. And it was unique to them. I think guilds, I think teams have watched them do that and just go, okay, we'll do the gamble. At this point in the game, gamble totally worth it.
PBM with a shield on himself, but it's Clout eating a lot more on top of PandaCat.
Yum, yum, yum.
The dunk is good, and Gino is going to be second to come. Forced to use the Dharmic Pillars on himself through space and time being used. Trying to clip Gino, but it just wasn't enough. PandaCat is satisfied with that. We'll just return to base.
No dessert. Still needs me. Somebody needs keegsmate. Somebody needs you. And it's your team. Keegs, Venenu. What a matchup in the middle lane. We heard Finch on the desk talk about how much he's enjoyed watching Venenu be successful. And I think across the way, Keegs has been just as the same. We get in trouble.
Ooh, the bomb just out of range. It might have been just enough damage to find the kill. It would have been very close to call. But, man, Weekend is playing defensively. Scream is the one trying to aggress with this 1-2 level lead.
Yeah, Weekend has had some trouble trying to find his openings here on his signature Serqet. So Luminosity struggling forward, about 2,000 gold down. LG certainly a lot more successful when Weekend's able to be the player that we expect him to be.
And normally, Serqet should have the advantage in this matchup. But the thing is, the way Scream is timing his dashes, it's very difficult to really lock him down that one time that he avoided the blink engage, double dashing away. And the reason why it's in Serqet's favor is you can use the Corvus Kiss or the Last Breath just to stop that Nemesis shield entirely.
Right. Nemesis shield goes away as soon as you get hit by crowd control.
Yep.
It's honestly why I like to see Thanatos into Nemesis a lot. You just soul reap it off. Really intelligent moves right there. It's another character that Weekend does play well. Both of these junglers actually have a Thanatos. If I'm not mistaken, Scream does enjoy his Thanatos. Khepri has been relatively strong as of late. We keep seeing him sprinkled here and there. I think Thanatos might make a comeback if Khepri starts being picked up a little bit more frequently, but in this game, it's all about the Geb and the Ganesh.
Geb shield is so important to keep everyone alive from Weekend's Last Breath. With a lot of penetration, Jotun's Wrath and the Crusher for Weekend. On the flip side, Scream going for penetration, but not the Crusher. For the attack speed, getting that Baller Speed Stick for the anti-healing, really trying to limit some of Kiki's options.
I love when players build Jotun's Wrath on Nemesis. It is not an item that every single Nemesis player swears by, but my mentality, especially in the early game, Nemesis is all about the ultimate, baby. Venenu going to get chunked there. 20% CDR. That's half of the cap.
Yeah, does a lot.
Your Nemesis ultimate is game-changing. Love to have that up more often.
Kiki going to get harassed a little bit by those Nenes as the rest of his teammates trying to clear off the little turtle. And I like what Scream is doing also. He's building into what probably is going to eventually be more mobility. He's probably thinking of a winged blade, if I were to guess. Hold that thought through space and time. eUnited trying to get a little bit closer.
Venenu shows up right on through the portal. Got to get help from PolarBearMike. Meanwhile, the dash away from Keegs is good, but Benji will return the damage on top. Pyromancer picked up by the red squad. Looks like here comes the blue as well. Scream off camera takes care of NotGeno. The Pyromancer going to be leashed one more time.
Dashing away from the Bond stun. Weekend gets the wrong target. He wanted Venenu, but keegsmate still takes him out. Drops under the Suns. Benji takes out Keegs. It's a 2-for-1. Currently, make that a 3-for-2 now as Kiki and Venenu get traded out.
Oh, but Clout's going to get pushed, and that's a ton of control. Can't even dash out of there. PandaCat takes care of Clout. 4 players dead. Weekend's alive, but he has no chance to get this Pyromancer in his favor. eUnited extending their lead. Wait a second, is the fire dead?
No, that was. I think that was like a Nene.
That was
it bounced
a
off the Pyromancer. It goes onto the fire giant.
Listen to the call, Nene Kappa. Listen to the call, Nene Kappa. Listen to the call, Nene Kappa.
They don't listen to the call, Tom. They have a mind of their own, and that's what makes them so scary. You can never predict what they're gonna do.
It's
That
play.
That team fight was opened up by Venenu and then sealed by PandaCat through space and time, basically allowed eUnited to get a little bit closer. And then once the counter aggression from Luminosity occurred, the defensive sons from PandaCat in the jungle, we were talking about it earlier, Ho-Yi making the impact in the team fights.
That was such an unfortunate scenario for Luminosity. It seemed like they had everything they wanted by the Pyromancer, but eUnited just come through, and what a wonderful play. Venenu comes through the portals, but I'm just looking at Scream, man. Scream is such a facilitator for this team. And usually when I say facilitator, I mean setup man. But when I say facilitator in this aspect, I just mean he brings them the wins. Whether it's by being setup man or hard carry guy, he's just always involved when this team does well.
Trying to set up their team for more success, getting the Gold Fury very low. eUnited secure themselves the second one while Benji zoning everyone away.
And he's going to be on his back for now, stunned out, but here comes the response. keegsmate goes from 100 to 0 real quick. PandaCat with the breaks. Weaken here on the run. A little bit of healing from Kiki. Won't hit Weaken. But the Gold Fury goes down just like Keegs. And eUnited wind up 5,000 gold in the lead.
Luminosity just can't be the ones to start the action first, and they're starting to really falter as we approach the 20.5-minute mark. The rest of eUnited thinking about the Tier 2 tower. That's exactly what they will be rewarded with. Kiki trying to buy time for Geno on the side. The split push from Scream will be answered by Weaken, and I'm surprised that eUnited are not going forward.
They are kind of waiting. They want to make sure that they have minions with them. I think that's a big deal, making sure that they're able to get the minion protection off of the tower.
But
then
that allowed the timing for keegsmate to make the respawn, so the rest of eUnited backing on now. And a slight missed opportunity potentially. I thought that they had that 4-on-3 on lockdown on the left.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they really wanted to, Scream could have even made the rotation and forced a 5-on-3 as Weaken was still kind of defending middle.
certainly possible. 21-12. We are not rushing through this one. Another obscure music reference for all the old folks out there. 10 kills in total. eUnited certainly in the driver's seat of this one. 7 in their column, but a little bit of a slower pace here. Totally. What can you tell us about the true metagame of this? Is it because of the picks? Is it because of the strategy? Why do we see such a shift? Because game number 1 and 2 were very quick.
That's true. Game number 1 specifically, where both Weaken and Scream were taking shots at each other. Game number 2
was over by now.
It was the fact that eUnited, the way they started off that game was like they already had that 1-game deficit, so they needed to find a way to back into the set. So they were playing a very methodical game with the Changa on Benji, right? He got the Warlock staff, and he was being a big nuisance and a bully. In game number 3, though, eUnited still with a lead, but it's a methodical lead. It's not like your typical rank games. This is more SPL-esque, where they're going to be very calculating about every small objective, whether it's Tier 1 tower or otherwise.
Kiki dodging out some of the nonsense right there. Well, now everybody's going to be aggressive. It's Geno that drops the pillars because he has a couple players stuck in them. PolarBearMike walks through and dies to it. keegsmate's going to die to the Kappa. keegsmate's going to die to the Kappa. Benji, hey, says Benji. And eUnited have the 1-for-1.
Trying to move even forward. eUnited with a 4-on-4. The heals from Kiki starting to take into effect. The longer this goes, a lot of cooldown reduction. Just need to avoid some of the nonsense damage out of Venenu, but Clout getting clipped a little bit. PandaCat doing a slight bounce, and without too much mana for Venenu, they're going to have to disengage, grabbing their own buffs.
So for a long time, this Benji, this Kuzenbo character was a joke, right? He wasn't strong on release, and he's a silly character. That said, he's got a number of touches and then became a niche character. I like to see him against the dots. I like to see him against the channeled abilities. Now, I mean, sure, Kiki and Weaken do have those dots channeled abilities keegsmate does on his passive, but I don't look at this composition. It's not a Bastet, right? I don't look at this composition and say, oh boy, I want the Kappa, man. So now, Kuzenbo, relatively strong and in hushed circles, intelligent, educated Smite minds have said that Kuzenbo might just be strong enough to be added to all of the solo laners' arsenals. Totally, an accomplished solo laner yourself in your own right. Is Kuzenbo a character that can truly become a quote-unquote meta solo lane pick without any trolling or having fun whatsoever?
Is it in terms of being first pick, first ban worthy?
No,
I would say no.
I don't think he's first pick. But it just means, like, is he a guy that you can just bring to any game?
I definitely think that there are certain circumstances, as long as you can disrupt people, such as Kiki's Tallow Assault, it's starting to work out and be shown on full display. Kiki struggled a little bit in the earlier stages. Bombs raining in through keegsmate. PBM using the defensive Cataclysm. Weaken. Very low, needs to back off through space and time, allowing eUnited the pressure.
And Scream's going to go to the right. Benji goes to the left. Splitting up eUnited. What a wonderful play from, or Luminosity being split up. eUnited doing the work. Venenu cuts down Clout nice and easy. And this is what I'm loving out of this Kuzenbo, because listen, Tully, I'm not the hugest Kuzenbo fan, frankly. You know, watching this one, I could be converted to the Kappa. There's a ton of zone pressure coming out from his little pet. He can literally push you out of the way. There's a ton of zone potential here.
Kiki getting bounced by PandaCat with a lot of follow-up. Gino trying to run away from the Nene. Benji dropping the reflect damage. It could allow Scream the dive potential. He does have the blink, but he ate that cooldown from Gino, so he's in combat.
Pyromancer going to be the focus for eUnited. After their Fire Giant victory and the Pyromancer victory, they've got 6 kills above their opposition and almost 10,000 gold there as well. They got a weaken too.
Level 20 Serqet falling. That Mad Guy's cloak being purchased, but it's not really enough to survive that one. Between a rock and a hard place, PBM and Scream combined efforts to take out the jungler from LG. 40 seconds dead on him, 10 out of Kiki. It's a big enough window to maybe go for a Phoenix.
Oh, did you see PandaCat with that bounce on the Gino?
Yeah.
That's an odd angle. There's a number of angles that Hou Yi players just know. Right?
Sure.
If you're a professional, I've talked to Taco about this. If you're a professional Hou Yi, there are you got to know your buff bounces. You got to know your Gold Fury bounces, right? There are bounces that are a part of your arsenal. That bounce from the wall to the Phoenix to the behind the wall, that's a hot play that I think other people need to take note of, because that's a big deal.
Towers and Phoenixes, sieges.
Wait a second. LG stole that.
Wait, did they?
I'm pretty sure LG just stole that Gold Fury, did they not? They did. Look at the little, the very little dodge in their direction.
The only person I see relatively close was keegsmate. I was actually looking at something else there at the moment. I thought, like, for sure United had it, so it wasn't even worth looking at.
I mean, that's what we do as commentators. When you see that, I didn't really see anybody in the vicinity. But
neither did the United, and that's why LG kind of just walked away with that one for free, kind of slowly deterring themselves. The bleeding is going to be stopped for the moment, but they're still down 11,000 gold. I thought this is a difficult hill to climb.
That's a drop in the bucket. I mean, it's certainly eUnited probably walk away from that objective just like us. Like, okay.
Oh, it happened.
Like somebody, they walk away like a second later. Wait, guys, did we get the gold? I don't think we did.
I didn't hear the notification. I didn't see it. I'm looking at my gold.
I don't think I got the gold, guys. We don't need it, because the gold that eUnited are looking for is the first place trophy. Looking for the victory here at the 27-minute mark. The box comes down from Gino, but the power comes out from eUnited. Here comes Clout to join the party, and the bomb stun's coming out from keegsmate. Not going to be enough. Weaken in trouble, has to jump out of the sun.
Benji with a watery grave, zoning everyone away as the rest of the members are focusing out Clout. Still surviving is Benji. Surprise, surprise. The Nene is strong in this one.
Ton of damage coming out from Luminosity, though. Look at the players, all very low. Fire Giant sustain not going to be good enough. Venenu's going to head back to base. But eUnited do topple the right side Phoenix. They get what they asked for. They will take it. And they'll walk away with it. Nice stuff.
I like the way that eUnited started off that encounter, because they baited out PandaCat to start things off. he got in the thick of things. He forced himself out there. He jumped away after receiving the PBM shield, which allowed the rest of his teammates to just follow up. Everyone kind of got zoned away also by Benji long enough that Phoenix fell.
So the Witchblade is the choice for Scream, not the Winged Blade. Witchblade is an anti-attack speed item, one of the few in the game. I don't really see a heavy attack speed presence on Luminosity's side. It also is decent stats. Witchblade brings you some health, in addition to its passive and some physical protection. Is that just why we see this? Like, what is the rationale behind the Witchblade?
Jingwei does have a decent amount of attack speed when she also takes her persistent gust. She's able to knock herself up to get that attack speed. And that's going to be problematic. Between the agility and the persistent gust, she's getting two different steroids all at once. Not only that, if Clout got the Poison Star, the less attack speeds or the less attacks that he's getting off, the less potential you're getting debuff. It's not the case this game, obviously, going for Titan's main last item, not an additional crit. Really worried about so much reflect damage from Benji between just the Thorns, the Hide and Mean, and he's also playing the Kuzenbo.
Benji doing a good job of keeping this wave pushed out, making sure his team's able to still have a presence here. Fire Giant is about to spawn in about 5 seconds, and eUnited are going to get it. Trying to cast his curses here. You think there's any way that LG can steal this one? Like they stole the
gold? If they were Janus, yes, but in this case, unless they literally put a GM command, I don't see it happening.
I don't think our players are allowed to do that. I tell you. Oh man. Cloud heading back to base. Half hour into this one, and eUnited standing tall. 15,192 gold when I started speaking. Middle lane Phoenix is going to be the focus here. And eUnited in position.
This could be the final nail in the coffin if Luminosity don't hold successfully. The right side Phoenix is still exposed to fire minions, and that's getting dangerously close to the throne room as Venenu positioning himself on that left side wall. It's very difficult to react to through space and time from that angle if you don't have the vision.
Benji still looking for a target. eUnited trying to slowly get in.
The blink from Scream.
And look at the player on the front line. Who is, wow, getting out of there, Clout. Just barely able to escape. Firebird, on the other hand, still in total trouble. Cloud shows up from the fountain. The Phoenix still hanging on for dear life.
Oh, the Nene and the knockback. PBM gets credit for that one, but it was all set up by Benji with a watery grave and the sumo slam. Cloud going back into the fountain. So difficult to hold on to this Fire Giant squad from eUnited that already stripped away 2 Firebirds.
That said, Scream is relatively low, and Kuzenbo is back to base. Benji has the teleport, and he'll show right back up. Not a big deal. keegsmate backs off to take care of some nonsense on the Titan. The United start looking for the Phoenix. Scream, about 60% HP. Gonna dodge out Kiki's stun. And Kiki gonna use the ultimate to no avail. PolarBearMike taking the tower, so you know eUnited are being instructed to go on top.
Unstable Vortex just almost chunks Kiki to oblivion. That left side Phoenix standing on its last legs as PandaCat is taking the pot shot. Scream forcing out the Aegis. Just for good measure out of Cloud. Right side Phoenix response. keegsmate will handle it for the moment, but 32 minutes of the game. eUnited are one final push away from sealing the fate of Luminosity and bringing this set back to 2-1 in the world defending champion's favor.
That portal was a long boy. Venenu able to come right on through. Right side Phoenix is live, but temporarily. KikiSoCheeky portal and not going to be hit with the follow-up damage, but here comes Weekend over and into the box. Hits players with the ultimate, but Weekend dies in last breath. PandaCat drops the Suns. Venenu drops everyone. And Kiki on the horse running back to base. eUnited poised and ready. The Titan is the target. 75% on the big boy. Kiki playing defense, trying to lure players out of the other side. Venenu takes him down. That's going to be the Titan victory. eUnited.
eUnited, despite losing the first game, come back in games 2 and 3. Impressive performance out of them, honestly. Switching things up between the Chang'e, between the Kuzenbo. These are two very diverse strategies that not many teams can execute, but eUnited, with great preparation into this one, doing a good job in week number 1.
Still loved what I saw from LG in game number 1. I want LG to be able to bottle that and continue to succeed. We've got a ton of competition here in North America, and I think LG can definitely be one of those teams. A couple of rookie talents that I think need to learn how to play the competitive side a little bit more. Geno definitely could have been a little bit more involved. It felt like the ultimates coming out from Geno were always because he was being pressured.
Sure.
And I don't necessarily think that has any. I don't think that's completely reflective on him specifically. I think it's a team thing, but that's one of the pieces of the puzzle that could come together.
I think that the MVP of this game could easily go to Benji. On the Kuzenbo, like the way he was zoning everybody, staying alive, zoning people with the watery grave, such a nuisance. And then the funny last kill onto keegsmate, Agni under the tier 2 tower. That's so annoying as a competitive player when you die to the little Kappa.
I think it's time to start looking at Kuzenbo as a real pick. I don't think he's a joke anymore, and it's kind of scary. Finch?
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Toli. Finch and Taco here as eUnited are indeed able to find the victory over LG despite dropping that first game. And maybe it is time to give some respect to the Kuzenbo. Well, it won't be coming from me, Taco. Y'all can respect the Kuzenbo, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready yet.
We respect all Kuzenbos around here, Finch. And,
it's 2018, right? Yeah, you got to respect Kuzenbos.
You got to respect Kuzenbo in 2018. But no, Benji's Kuzenbo, it definitely warranted a lot of respect from Luminosity, which they did try to provide throughout that game. Once he was really far ahead, I don't think anybody wanted to actually mess with him because Kuzenbo really defeated the entire purpose of Luminosity's draft and what they were looking for.
And it was really the solo jungle combination, I feel like, between them. That's what won them game 2, was Benji and Scream, and that's what won them game 3. In fact, that's also what won Benji another MVP vote there from those in Mixer chat. So thank you once more for voting, and well-deserved. I mean, the Nene Kappas, the reflect damage, I think it was top damage for most of the game. He was just getting it done.
Does this still technically count as a support winning MVP?
No. He played it in solo, Taco.
But it's a Guardian.
That's true. A Guardian top damage.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say, does all that damage count if it's mostly reflect damage? Because I don't know. I don't know if it counts if it's all reflect. He was getting work done. Okay, I'll give him some credit.
You just have to watch your positioning so much whenever a Kuzenbo is involved, and I think that was the big issue that Luminosity just kept encountering, is their team fight kind of relied on everybody being able to spam their kits, and Kuzenbo defeats the whole purpose of that. So really smart drafting there out of the guys from eUnited, I think, in the end, being a large contributing factor to why they even ended up being so far up against Luminosity.
I do want to give plenty of credit to Scream, though. I mean, on that Nemesis pick, he was causing a lot of problems for Kiki, problems for Keegs. He was doing such a good job dropping the ultimate and finding his targets early on in their team fights. And yes, a lot of that space was created by Benji, who was playing very well in the Kuzenbo, but a big team effort from eUnited all in all. They're able to grab that victory, and they weren't the only teams. Actually, a couple teams grabbed some victories this week. So actually, let's look at the standings and see where it is that everyone shook out afterwards. Space Station continuing to look dominant up at the top of North America, Taco.
Rough stuff, though, for CLG. I don't think too many people would have really expected them to have been met with 2 set losses so early on. But clearly, they've been having a little bit of struggles here, readjusting to the summer split in Season 5.
Yeah, and in Europe, you can see Obey up at the top, which is pretty good for the team after coming, I think it was 4th at the end of that spring split. They're able to get their win over Energy. Maybe their Energy's kind of Achilles heel that we're able to see here on the standings. But let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule as well. That way you can look back on these matches. Actually, these are going to be the matches to look forward to. No, this is week 1. This is week 1 schedule. So yeah, these are the ones that we already saw happen here. That's the eUnited, or Space Station vs. Trifecta, some of those other sets there. So make sure you check those out. Now we got week 2 here. Okay, there we go. So it is going to be the match to look forward to next week, starting off with Rival versus Energy and eUnited versus CLG.
And there's a lot of competition, too, because I think that some of the European teams, some people would probably argue, from the public perspective even, that Europe seems a little bit closer in terms of their top end of the competition. I'd say that on any given day of the week, any of those 4 teams, I'm referencing Obey, Dignitas, Energy, and Rival here, they could probably take a set off of the other. I
Yes.
think that just depends on how they're feeling on any given day when they're actually playing against each other. But for North America, I wouldn't be too surprised if by like weeks 3 and 4 we already see some very like distinct gaps. But I feel as though the fall split is really going to be like the split to keep an eye out for,
Right.
because that'll be when all of this rookie experience isn't really a factor any longer, because you'll have had a whole year by then. You should be pretty well adjusted to the competitive environment.
That's kind of what the summer split is all about, right? It's a chance to make those roster adjustments like we're seeing some teams do, like Trifecta, get to some time working together at SPL caliber plays, and then make it all the way to the fall split. But that's not the only shakeup is the rosters for summer. We kind of swapped around a lot of our broadcast schedule, moved just about everything over to a league format, so you'll be seeing the console. That's happening on Mondays. Then we're bringing to you the Global Series and Minor League Tuesdays through Thursdays, so you're going to make sure you're checking out all those matches.
So you still get pretty much all the same amounts of Smite, just in a much easier way to keep track of.
Right.
And not to mention that you're going to get Monday through Friday now, in comparison to before where it was kind of just a little bit all over the place. So you're still getting your daily dosage of SPL, and we are sticking traditional to the standard schedule, except now Mondays also feature SPL sets of their own.
That's right. Going to be able to see some SPL just about everywhere. So plenty of Smite just to enjoy all in all. But if you want to see some of our big boy events that are going to be coming at you later, we got that schedule here for you as well. Like the All-Stars that I'm really looking forward to towards the end of the summer split, right after the LAN. Then, of course, the all-important fall split that leads up into that placement round.
And the placement round, of course, ends up telling you who exactly you're going to be able to see over at the Smite World Championship. Those two are really intertwined together. However, they're basically all the same Worlds event, just split apart into 2 different pieces, so you get the best of the best the whole way through.
That's right. Not only your favorite teams, but you'll get to see us there at HRX as well. Taco, you're going to be there, and I know that you're going to be dabbing for the folks at home. Is that correct?
Well, Vince, what is your obsession with dabbing lately?
What do you mean?
You say everybody's dabbing except yourself. So
I'm dabbing.
Where's your dab?
I'm going to dab. I'm dabbing right now. It's just not on camera. Yeah, I just dabbed just now. Man, I can't believe you missed it.
Wow.
We were talking about the HRX deal with all those tickets, and you missed my dab.
You know what? The best part about it, though, the camera's on us now, Finch. You have, take your time.
I only dab once. That's and you can't dab twice,
Take your
Taco.
time.
Everybody knows that.
Nobody saw it happen the first time.
Everybody saw
I
it.
didn't see
It was
it.
on camera.
I didn't
What's
see
up?
it.
We're on the single shot. You want to see me dab again? I'll dab for you, chat. Just not here. At HRX, buy those tickets November 16th through 18th, and then you'll get to come see me dab in person. Nothing better than that. There's a screen between us right now. You don't want this.
How much longer until we can actually close this out?
Taco.
Well, what do you know, folks? It's actually the end of the day here.
End of the day, that's right. We've shown you everything that we have for you today, but we are going to be keeping a rebroadcast going throughout the weekend. So if there's any Smite action that you missed, just hop back in anytime until Monday when we start everything fresh again with Esports Weekly, right into the console action. So thank you for joining us here for the SPL, and we'll see you all later.